Hey guys, welcome back to Lucid Nightmare, and I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer. It is another field trip time. We are here at the local movie theater, and I am going to see Godzilla Minus One, I believe it's called. Really excited to see this one. I've heard nothing but great things. I like the combination of the Godzilla movie and like the post-World War II kind of era. So really excited. I haven't really watched any trailers or anything about it, so I'm kind of going in blind, but I've heard nothing but amazing things. So really excited to kind of check it out for myself. It's gonna be like the second time in a few months that I've seen a Godzilla film in the theaters, so really awesome. And yeah, I guess I will go in and see what all the hubbub is about. I will watch it, and when I come back, I'll let you know my thoughts on the movie. See you soon. And you Kaiju maniacs, I just got out of the theater. The movie was, let's just summarize it, the movie was fantastic. Probably one of the top 10, I mean, there's a lot of movies out there of Godzilla. Definitely in the top 10. Just really well thought out production from start to finish. Story arcs for the human characters. Very satisfactory, or satisfying, I wouldn't say. That's usually the worst part of a Godzilla film, I think, is the human factor to it. They really nail it in this one. It's almost like a family drama kind of film where their heart, or their story is the heart of the movie. But yeah, I don't really know where to start with certain things, but let's just say that, all right, the movie is set after World War II. Japan has been crippled. They're suffering from the loss, and people are trying to move on with their lives after losing family members, and kind of the trauma of war is still heavy on the country. And we center around a kamikaze pilot who actually runs away from his last mission. He doesn't want to go through with it, so he kind of fakes that there's something wrong with his plane. And those circumstances lead him to an island where he first encounters Godzilla. And Godzilla is like a very premature form of his normal huge self. It's kind of the early stages. And he is more like, it's almost like a T-Rex. It's really interesting. Moves very fast. Nothing like the Godzilla that we all know and love. But he sees that for the first time and is haunted by it. A lot of people die because of a certain thing that happens, and he's kind of carrying that guilt, not only from not following through with his mission of being a kamikaze pilot, but losing the lives of these people because he didn't do something. Let's just say, I don't want to say too much, but that carries on throughout the entire film. There's a great sense of World War II and the loss on Japan, so that hangs heavy across everything. A lot of so where else should I go with this? It's all over the place, but in a good way. There's a lot of scope to this film, and let's say, well, like the positive aspects, I guess let's go through it. Well, so needless to say, all right, Godzilla shows up again throughout. It goes over a year or two. He's getting bigger and bigger, and he finally starts attacking Japan. And it's really interesting because the thing that's really cool, the aspect that really kind of took me off guard in this film, is that there's a lot of political tension going on throughout the movie. So Japan is rebuilding. They're building back from what happened, and they have a lot of stipulations on. They aren't allowed to be armed. They're military and things like that. So when Godzilla does attack, they can't really have aid. They can't ask for aid from the US because there's Soviet Union tensions going on and they don't want to spark any kind of new conflicts. So when Godzilla is attacking Japan, it's almost the volunteer citizen force that's kind of coming up with the plan to take Godzilla down, which is really interesting because we're used to seeing the Japanese military putting all they can into taking down Godzilla. But in this case, it's kind of the ingenuity of ex-military and scientists that were kind of, I wouldn't say disbanded, but kind of like, they're not in power anymore. So they're kind of, it's a grassroots kind of operation that wants to take Godzilla down. And so, yeah, it's an interesting aspect. And the plan is really... I mean, it's, I guess it makes sense, but it's really, really silly when you think about it. But it's cool how they kind of get the plan in action, and they have a plan A. They have all different contingency plans. If one thing fails, then another thing, and then another thing. But everyone's storyline comes together. Like the main guy, he has a definite redemption arc where he has to kind of come to terms with a lot of things, and there's a lot of PTSD from the war, and he struggles. What I thought was interesting with the human character, he was struggling with thinking that he was dead or he died during the war, and that he is just kind of, it's like a nightmare he's living in. So that was kind of pretty cool concept there. And yeah, but enough of the story, so I don't want to give too much away because it is kind of a interesting thing to see unfold. But the effects-wise, stupendous film for it is a low-budget film compared to Hollywood standards. So they did an amazing job. There are some janky parts to it, but I mean, the way the aesthetics are for the film is that it has that 40s feel to it with the locations, the costumes of the characters, and just the color palette that they used. There's a lot of kind of warm, kind of old retro-timey, I guess, feel to the movie with the color palette and things like that. But yeah, it's a visually very beautiful film too as well. But sure, what else is there to talk about? There's a lot of different elements. I think I tackled most everything I was going to talk about. I summarized it pretty damn good. Another interesting aspect of the film that you don't see a lot in American films, which is why the American film industry is pretty much dying, in my opinion, is that they have a strong male character, a very strong father figure, and just a very heartfelt story that doesn't have any kind of political agenda. It's just about people overcoming odds, coming to terms with turmoil and trauma, and there's just no kind of woke element to it, I guess. But I mean, you wouldn't expect that from Japanese culture because they're kicking our ass in manga stories. Comic books are dying in the United States because they can't get their heads out of their ass, and we're just going to keep continuing to get our entertainment from outside sources that want to bring the traditional kind of family elements to movies. And this one delivers. It has a very uplifting and heartfelt story about kind of a country rebuilding and coming back from pretty much near death, and kind of reinventing who they are, just like the characters in the story. So it's a relatable theme too across all boards. You don't have to be a Japanese citizen to get it. It's just a human story, and I believe Hollywood has lost their mind. They do not know how to do a human story anymore. They don't really know ethics anymore. I don't think they even know right from wrong. They are just crashing and burning. And Japanese films, thank God for them and for outside sources, because they're really bringing some new stuff to the table that has that traditional element from bygone years in Hollywood that was heralded as being, what they stood for. And people are bringing that back from outside sources. Low budget, I would say this film is, even though it's a huge franchise. But, its budget was a fraction compared to something like Disney's The Marvels, which crashed and burned. And all those other, like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, all this crap, you know, like they throw all this money at it and they got no heart and soul. This movie had a hell of a lot of heart and soul. Like I said, the human elements are really lacking in most Godzilla films. This one, they really nailed it. They centered on a handful of characters, the main one being the kamikaze guy, but he has a whole bunch of different characters he runs into with. There's a whole father element, like I said, and they really just emphasize the human story, the human condition, and the offset of that against this big unwielding monster that is just destroying everything, and kind of like almost the epitome of the war and what happened to Japan, and they kind of embodiment in Godzilla and like a second coming of that, and they are kind of fighting for their nation again. Really interesting concepts, like all Godzilla, really great Godzilla films throw that kind of in there, those metaphors of nuclear war and things like that. But this one really kind of deals with the Japanese nation and what they went through and kind of rebuilding. But great film, like I said, serious as a heart attack. There is no silliness in this film to be seen. It's just a very, it treats Godzilla like a drama piece. It's a drama period piece, and it's just very, very awesome, very refreshing, very fun to see in theaters. I got D-box seats, so I was getting shot all over the place. Yeah, highly recommend it. It was a really great film. Very nice little bit of escapism, and just a great new Godzilla film in the long-standing filmography of that series. Just really awesome to have a refreshing take on the genre, and another addition to Kaiju films. Yeah, I guess that's about it. So hopefully you like that one. I'm freezing my ass off out here, so I got to start the car and get going. But yeah, if you like what I'm doing on the channel, please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, leave a comment below if you've seen the film, or if you have just thoughts on what I said. If you disagree, you know, I'd love to hear anything. But I will see you guys at the next Lucid Nightmare. And yeah, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and I will see you later. See ya.